going on, guys? My name is Daniel McKenna. I'm the host for today's Thrive 15 episode. Do you guys remember that movie Star Wars where Jabba the Hutt, he wouldn't let the stormtroopers onto the Death Star, and then Luke was womping down womp rats in his T-16, and then Chewbacca was like, I'm your father, and then Darth Vader just blew up the Death Star for no reason? That was a great movie. But today we're sitting down with Clay Clark and with Brian Smith, and we're talking about mindset and the mindset that you need to have as an entrepreneur. Don't know who Brian Smith is? Check this out. Specifically, Brian is going to be talking to us about what it takes to succeed as an entrepreneur. If you've read into any of the media or the newspapers, you might know that 8 out of 10 new businesses fail within the first 18 months. And that's what we're doing, we're creating a new business. So bad odds, right? Well, Brian's gonna talk to you about the mindset that you need to have to make sure you are one of the 2 as opposed to one of the 8. Here at Thrive, we believe that knowledge without application is meaningless, which means you need to listen, learn, and apply. Otherwise, today's lesson is going to be more meaningless than that time in the Star Wars where Harrison Ford got wrapped up in carbon fiber and then Chewbacca was running around with those big android machines yelling, "Give me back my son!"
Brian, I want to start with a boom. Boom. All right, well, my friend, how are you doing?
Doing well today, doing very well.
Well, I am excited because we're going to be talking about what it takes to succeed as an entrepreneur. And you are really one of America's most successful insurance agents. Can you explain, though, in third grade terms so that my mind and maybe other Thrivers can grasp when we say you're one of America's most successful insurance agents? Can you maybe compare how big your insurance business is in comparison to maybe most other insurance in private agencies or independent agents?
Well, I appreciate that, Clay, and I'm not sure who told you all that information, but let's say we were one of the most successful in the country. The comparison would look like this. In our 1,050 square foot building, we would probably be the size of potentially 10 to 12 other insurance agencies in Tulsa.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So this guy, I mean, because there's so many people who are insurance agents, but you really have a business that you've built. I mean, you guys are like 10 times larger than the average insurance agent.
We don't think about the business as just being a little bitty business. We like to think about our office as being a 24/7 connection to our clients. So we're accessible at any time.
Okay, so that's kind of your niche.
Yes.
Now I know that you're ridiculously successful as an agent, but where did you start, my friend? Tell me how you grew up.
I started in a little town north of Tulsa by the name of Owasso, which is a thriving metropolis these days, but when I lived there, it was just a quaint little town. And I did the regular stuff. I went to high school. After high school, I went to 3 or 4 different colleges to figure out what I was going to do. My life came off the tracks a little bit, though, as a younger guy. I was hit by a drunk driver when I was young, and it slowed down my path for athletics and as well as my education. And so when I moved back home, I just started working at my local church with my youth group and trying to figure out what I was going to do. After that, I met a guy that was in the mortgage business, and he said, I'm still friends with him to this day. He actually works with me now. He said, "You're a little bit young for the mortgage business." And just like lots of other people told me at the time, "You're a little bit young, or you probably can't do that." But he gave me an opportunity, and I took the opportunity at age 24. 4 years later, I owned that mortgage company with himself and a few additional guys, and we sold that later in 2009. But I got my real start in business right there on the phone, selling mortgage loans across the country.
So your first real sales job, I mean, you weren't raised in like a sales Viking culture where every day your mom and dad taught you sales and you ate sales for breakfast. I mean, your first job, 24, I mean, your first real sales job?
Yeah. Well, my mom worked for 36 years in the boiler room, also known as Owasso Public Schools.
Ooh.
So there wasn't a lot of sales teaching, but I will credit my mother with a lot of my personality. She's got a great personality.
Is your mother a honey badger?
Yeah, she is. I learned a lot from my mom. I don't know about you, but I thought when I was a teenager that everyone's mom had 2 to 3 jobs. Father wasn't necessarily around my whole child life and teenage life, and so my mom worked 2 to 3 jobs the whole way through so that my brother and I could do all the things that we did, and it wasn't until I was about 24 that I realized, you know what? Not everybody's mom works 2 to 3 jobs, just mine did, to make sure. So I get a lot of what I have from strength from my mother. Her personality is just like mine, very overbearing, sarcastic, and somewhat annoying. So,
and that's why we love you, though. That's why you are America's honey badger, and you deserve another boom. Boom. Okay, here we go. Now, notable quotable, Brian. Reid Hoffman, that's the guy who co-founded LinkedIn, and he was a member of the PayPal board of directors and a very successful venture capitalist. He describes entrepreneurship as you jump off a cliff and you assemble an airplane on the way down. Brian, tell us a story, kind of a story time here. Tell us a story of when you first got bitten by this entrepreneurial bug. When did you decide, I'm going to start my own business?
You know what, Clay? I learned at a pretty young age that the path to your greatest success is probably going to run through your greatest fear. And at a young age, when you learn that, you almost become unstoppable if you want to be. So, you know, there's a million stories of when I was like, oh man, I think I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I don't think I realized that the entrepreneur thing till later. What I thought my whole life is that you get up, you do the things you do in the morning, you go to work, and you call people. And that's it. And if you kind of look at your day in sales or an entrepreneur, that's what you do. You get up, you do what you've got to do to get ready to leave the house, whatever that may be, and you go call people. And if you do that every single day, the results will be good, because you can't track results. They're not guaranteed. You got to track effort. And if the effort's there, generally the results will follow.
You just said 2 things that are blowing my mind here. One is you said the path to your greatest success is usually through your greatest fear.
Sure. That
is profound. And you're also saying that you cannot track the results. You can just track like the activity that you're doing or the effort.
Today in my own business, I don't sit down with my staff and say, you know what, here's the results and goals that you have. I want to talk about what are you going to do to get there. So I'm going to track your effort and your activity. We'll get to the results. The results are something that I can't guarantee. So why talk about results if we can't guarantee them? I can only guarantee an effort.
I want to hug you right now. It's just unbelievable. I love this because this is 100% opposite of what I would say 95% of the kids I meet who've graduated from college and they're on like year 4 of looking for a job.
Sure.
You know, it's you know, the idea that like, well, I'm just focusing on the results, but that activity, that effort you're putting forth is what you need to be focusing on, because you'll ultimately get results, right? If you just
everything you want in your life is right outside your comfort zone. So what you have to do is realize that, you know, in colleges they teach you that when you graduate you're going to make lots of money.
Oh yeah.
Not accurate.
Oh.
So what you have to do is you've got to learn that things come with time, and you can't just come out of college expecting 100,000. That's the result. You've got to go out there and control the effort and activity and track it. The success will follow the effort.
I kind of want to get a sarcastic shirt together that says, college, after you graduate, you'll get out making a lot of money.
Sure, yeah.
That's not right.
It equals 100K. It equals 100K always.
All right.